So once again, very good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to this interesting session, which is our second session on competency management, competency development. Okay, yeah. So let us do a quick. Okay, first of all, let's run through the assignment. All of you have done this assignment, career driver assessment, right? I'm sure all of you have done this. Okay, I will just give you the analysis interpretation. You have your scores, so then you can actually do them accordingly. Now, all of you have filled in those 36 questions, right? Assigned 3 points between the two statements. Okay. Now, after having done that, then you have collated your data. And as you can see here, one is you could have done this. Now, you would have totaled under A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, the points, for all A, B, C. Now, you would have this, your career driver's profile. Okay. Now, essentially, when you're talking about A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, these are those 9 career drivers. As I said, this is a psychometric assessment tool, which is a real standardized test, Richmond scale inventory. When you have a list of questions, it is called an inventory test. Now, in this test, if you see, there are 9 career drivers. Now, A represents material. And as you can see, B, power, meaning, expertise, creativity, affiliation, autonomy, security, and status. For example, I will just analyze this. Now, the highest score here is, if you can see, is 19, right? The highest score 19 represents the career driver power. So what does this mean? That whoever it is, I'm not actually taking names and I don't want to. So whoever it is, right now, this person's greatest motivator is to be, powerful. Now, what does that mean in an organization? That is, you want to actually take charge, be in control, take decisions, control the entire thing, be in a very influential kind of a role. So therefore, say for example, for this person, it is an annual increment and the boss says, hey, I'm going to actually send you on training, deputy on higher role activities. All right, but the role actually does not have anything to do with what control, power, influencing. That's not really going to motivate him, because for him, the real motive, he will be really very, very, what drives his behavior is what? Power. Now, if I as a boss will know his career driver, hey, at this point of time, his real motivator, what will motivate him is power, influence. So if I could actually give him a role which will influence, which will actually take charge, and there's a higher control of it, could be, when I say power, what is it? Power means taking charge of material, taking charge of resources, be it machinery, be it material, be it manpower, etc. So he wants to be at the center of that. So if I were to do that, then he will be greatly motivated. Such people, what will they do? If they see that in their role they are not getting this, either they will start looking out for new jobs which will give them that kind of a thing, or alternatively they will look at least, if I'm not in the center of power, I should be in the periphery, at least closer to the power. Are you getting me? Okay, so that's how it is. Then typically in this career drivers, you look at three what is that drivers, like for example 19, and then the next will be 16, okay, and the next is 15. So, and also 14 you can kind of add that. Now let us see meaning. So this person, along with power, he's saying, hey, I also want to have some kind of a meaning in what I am doing. That means, contribution, much more than just looking at what I'm at an individual level, but also probably at a community level, etc. So he does not mind spending time taking charge of community or the environment around. So he wants to feel that, a sense of meaning for his life. So apart from that, he also wants to be this. Then, if you notice creativity, if the job is not offering him, I may be giving you a big title, etc. But if the job is not offering him great creativity, innovation, something new, then after some time he's going to get bored. Because if you notice his money, he says, hey, I don't want money. His money score is very low. Saying, hey, material rewards, etc. No, it doesn't motivate me much because I have enough. So I want to actually be more creative. The role should have more new projects, or if I'm doing a couple of multiple processes, I should be able to really, do something new in those processes, etc. So just to explain all these career drivers quickly. So when you have material as your very highest score, that means that is your driver. That means at this I want to also tell you that no career driver will be there for a lifelong. It keeps changing as per your life cycle. Say, for example, I'm just married, at this point of time, I really need money to set up my house, etc. Maybe at this point of time, I'm really looking at, a good hike in my salary. I want to really, buy a house, maybe, etc. So money will be a great motivator, as opposed to if your boss will say, hey, I'm going to really, give you a lot of training, invest in you, etc. That's not going to interest me. Now, power and influence I've explained to you. Meaning also I've explained that, a sense of the concept of wanting to really get some meaning out of what I'm doing. Also extending my work to the community, etc. Expertise, what does it mean? I want to really become a mastery if I'm doing something. Hey, if I'm a competent person, I want to really learn everything. Say, for example, if a person has a very high score on this, what will motivate him? Not money, not power, etc. Give him many projects, send him for training. He will be very, very motivated because he wants to become a master at this. Mastery. A lot of times you will see that, a mid-level at all, the score will be very high for expertise because they want to really become subject matter experts. Creativity. A guy who has a very high score here, he wants to be creative, innovative. He doesn't want to do the same thing, routinistic, etc. And if he continues to do that a year or two, then he will quickly get bored and you will see that there's a drop in his productivity. So the first thing the boss should actually understand, hey, what is his career driver? And then check on and match with it. Affiliation. What is affiliation? That means establishing bonds, getting closer to people. So typically there is a stereotype of an image saying that, HR people are high on affiliation. That is, they only are people managers. But when it comes to task, they're very low on task. It's actually a kind of a stereotype. But, it's very important also to be high on affiliation. People who have a high score on affiliation, actually, for them, people matter a lot. They believe in building relationship. Somebody, I don't know whose score it is, it's a kind of, a little low on this affiliation. So I think that person needs to really develop autonomy. Very low. Okay, this person, autonomy. What is autonomy? That means independence. Okay, hey guys, don't drive my back. I want to be independent. Give me the project and tell me, hey, this has to be delivered in certain time. Give me some independence. I will do it. So this person also is low on autonomy, doesn't want that kind of a thing. Security. This is a very big driver also. Here, this person doesn't want security. What does it mean? People who are high on this score on security, say, for example, if they get something like a 19 or 18, Do you know what they do? They would prefer to work in public sectors. Why? They will say, hey, because people who are high on security, or they do not want to take any risk. They'll say, hey, I don't know. Tomorrow, if this job, I want to be in a public sector, safe, secure, and I will get medical for lifelong, etc. Such people who have very high score on the security will also, if somebody says, why don't you do this, they will, for everything they will say, no, you send me a mail, confirm it through mail, and only then I will do. Very high thing about it is risk aversion. For everything, security, they will typically not move out from jobs. They're always looking at safety, etc. All right. Status. Very interesting. Let me see. Okay. 14. I don't know whose is it. Okay. You know what? These are those people who are always looking at, they want to wear their status. Which club are you going? What title I have? I don't mind about the content. Yeah. I must have a title. I must be a general manager. They're always looking at growth in terms of titles. Then, which car are you wearing? Driving? Which location do you stay? They're very, very conscious status. And I'm sure when you interact with people, colleagues in your organization, you can identify who are there. They will be all people, what kind of branded clothes are they wearing, which club are you going, what are you wearing, what kind of a thing. So everything, what kind of a mobile set are you having. So if organizations, they also consider the status as a need in terms of millennials. Therefore, when it comes to benefits and perquisites, there is something called a cafeteria method, where even at a lower level, if you think you want a bigger car, you can actually opt for that. And because I'm an old person, I don't care about the kind of car, I don't have any status kind of a thing, so I don't mind, aligning with this kind of a need in the millennial workforce for status, their flexi benefits are also keeping into consideration the status need as such. Okay, guys, any questions on this? Quick questions. You can go back, look at yourself, and see what is your highest score in which career driver is it, followed by the next two. Okay, and then you can look at how does it actually then tally or match with right now where you are, and what kind of motives you have, or what motivates you. And let me tell you, it doesn't change immediate. If you do it again tomorrow, it will be the same almost. Maybe after 3 months, 6 months, if something changes in your life, in your life cycle, then again these career drivers score will be changing. Okay, shall we move on? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, any questions? Yes, Sumit, any questions?
No.
None. All right. Okay.
Yeah, Nirmala, Anish here.
Who is it? Anish. Yeah. Anish.
See, when we say these are the career drivers, and
Little
if I
louder,
want,
Anish. Yeah.
if I would like to make a retention plan for my talent, maybe at mid level. So, if I wanted to engage them based on this graph, do you think that that will help me to have a better retention in place?
In fact, let me tell you, Anish, most of the organizations, this is a very, very, a lot of work has been done on this. If you read even on the internet, Edgar Sheen, okay, this is a modified career drivers by Richmond. So what we do in our, like as an HR head, what I have done is most of the time asked my recruitment department to use this, whether it is at an entry level or whether it is at a mid level. Why? When I make them do this, I understand their career drivers. What is motivating them? What is their highest career driver score right now? Then at an entry level, what I do is, what does this job offer? Does it have a match with his career drivers? So if there is a match of 80 to 85%, then I can improve upon it. But if there is no match at all, like a 40, 45, 50, then through again, when I do an interview, then I will try and understand. So it is better not to hire, because it will only then conclude in what? Attrition. Likewise, you asked me this question. Absolutely, I would say you must get this test done by them, and it will give you an understanding of what are their career drivers. And keeping that in mind, are you now providing that? Can you then provide that to a certain extent? Are you getting me?
Yeah, sure. But
Yeah.
but definitely, I do agree with you.
It will
But
reduce
definitely,
your attrition. It will increase motivation, because it is like, valuing for what you are giving. Like, for example, I'm rewarding you with, a huge amount of money, but at this point of time, this money is not my motivator. This is not high on my priority. For me, it is, say, for example, I want to be a subject matter expert, so I want to work on various projects. I want to really go for training. So if I, as a boss, I'm able to understand your career driver, what motivates you, then what will happen? I'll say, instead of giving you a reward as a money, I'll say, okay, fine. This guy actually, he loves to become a subject matter expert. Let me see what is the kind of a career mapping can I do for him.
understood.
Okay, Anish?
Understood.
Yeah, thank you.
It may not be a MRI machine, but it's a X-ray machine kind of thing. It's not a MRI machine, but X-ray machine.
Okay. Are you working in a diagnostic, Sumit? But it helps a lot, guys. First of all, when you go back, please get it done to your team, and you will see that. Okay? All right. Okay. Have all of you done this assignment?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me see who can explain and what, so that there's a little participation. Who wants to take the lead? Ninu, you want to take the lead?
I didn't do the assignment.
I'm not forcing on you. Feel free, because I want the comfort level. Or Anish also, if he wants to. Or Sumit. See, why I'm actually, pulling you all out is, the more you participate, the more you talk, that's how you learn, because this is not just, a lecture-based kind of a session. Yeah. What did you understand?
Yeah, Nirmala, I have done this assignment, and based upon this case,
Anshu, I can't see you. Is it that you don't want to be seen today?
No, definitely. Actually, there is some problem in my network.
No problem. No problem. No problem.
So I've done this assignment, and based upon this case, I created 3-4 examples, and in these example, I tried to show what kind of performance, whether performance it as a 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, 4 level, or 5 level. So if you want, I can let you know. However, Wilma told me that you have to do it differently. You can refine it more, but I could not be able to do that. So different scenarios I have created in this question 1. So if you want to.
Okay. First of all, let me just give you a little summary of this. So here what we were actually trying to do is, ultimately, everything boils down to, in an organization, behavior, right?
Yes.
Demonstrated behavior. That means how you behave. Okay. Now, say, for example, in this, we'll use, say, for example, the first question of, when an office boy needs money for treatment, and he will not be receiving any money because he has already taken. Now, typically, how do you actually behave, or what is the kind of a behavior? So these behaviors in an organization can have more intensity. That means, there will be progression in your behavior, which will be more intense, or it will be very, very nascent, just at a so what we call them as actually, so Wilma was wanting to put up this proficiency levels, what we call as bars, behavioral anchored rating scales. And we will be doing a lot more about this as we actually proceed in this session. So just to give you a little understanding, when we talk about behaviorally anchored rating scale, is what it actually represents a scale. It could be 3, it could be 5, but what does it mean? A behavior, the intensity at a lower level is much lesser, and at a higher level is more. So there is a progression. Now let us look at a response. So if you just see these responses, look at the lowest. So if anybody can just read 1 or 2 statements of this lowest, which is level 1. Can anybody, can you see this? I mean, is it, are you able to read, or I will read it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like at the below level, ignore employees, ask employee to come later, postpone the meeting. He will behave busy on the phone, yells at the employee. After the boy makes several attempts, finally, when the HR person meets him, HR will ask to visit the policy. Yes,
Yeah.
in this
So,
way, I also tried to demonstrate the
common?
behavior.
Is it common?
Yes.
Is it a common behavior? Sometimes you will come across, the HR guy saying,
Yeah.
haven't you seen the policy? Haven't you seen this? Right? So it is a level 1. How are you actually, what kind of a behavior are you showing? You are not even, you are here. Now look at the outstanding guy, in the sense at a level 5. How do you behave? He will listen to the concerns. He will have alternatives suggested. Then he will revise the policy. He will take the issue to the management to make an exception. He will offer if he can personally help. So if you notice, there's a huge change from level 1 to level 5. Okay. So what does it actually go to show? Saying that when you are analyzing a particular competency, now, how do you say that, hey, this competency which has been demonstrated, any whether it is adaptability or whether it is decision making, is it at a very low level or is it at a very high level? Now, as we go along, we will actually look into that. This is only just to look at this homework of yours. Okay. Yeah. So let us actually come back to our session today, session 1, and what we are going to cover today, right? So essentially what we're going to look at today is the competency. I'm sure all of you have this confusion. Hey, sometimes we talk about competency framework, sometimes we talk about competency model, sometimes we're talking about dictionary. So what's all this? And then how do we actually map the competencies? And then what are these bars? So by the end of this session, you will have a good understanding about the entire competency development frameworks, models, etc. And you'll also be doing a small case study where you will actually do the analysis, map competencies, etc. Now, just to give you a little recap on what we did. In our first session, what we covered was that we talked about, or we defined what is a competency. As all of you are aware, competency is an underlying characteristics of an individual which causes superior performance. And then taking this metaphor or analogy of this iceberg model. So whatever is submerged in water, 80% of the iceberg, which we actually call it as concept, values, motives, traits, everything is submerged. And what you can actually see at a surface level is only the knowledge and the skill. Okay. Now, having said that, now then we said we essentially are talking about what are the competencies required for a role or a position or for a job. So when we start looking at the entire competency development, first of all, let me, first of all, I'll use a blackboard so that then I will go back to the, okay. So first of all, when all of you or some of you are, CHROs, HR heads, and or some of you would like to go back and implement this entire competency mapping and competency development as an area. Now, when you want to do this, you have to first of all know the need for it, need for competency. Now, you just can't go and start off saying that, okay, I'm going to introduce competency mapping. So you have to actually talk to your top management. All right. Now, when you talk to your top management, who are your seniors in terms of the business heads and the head of the organization, then you have to emphasize the need for competency in terms of, hey, if I'm actually going to implement competency, what is the kind of outcome or what is the impact to the business? So today, most of the business leaders understand that when you implement competency, then what happens? There's a substantial increase in the productivity, because then your workforce actually gets developed, gets trained, all their gaps in terms of the competencies are taken care of through training and development, and they know that they will actually have a substantial increase in productivity and therefore the profit. Also, the top management is convinced today about saying that when I actually introduce competency management, then I can actually create leaders. Okay. So there are many uses of introducing the competency management. So therefore, so the top management is convinced, and so you are introducing competency management. Right now, when you are looking at a competency, now you have to understand what are the types of competencies. Okay. Anybody who can quickly, because there are people who have actually done a lot of work in this area. Yes. Yeah. Anybody? What are the types of competencies? We talked about it. So that's why I'm asking you. I will put here. Yeah.
Technical competencies, functional competencies.
Yeah, 1 second. So technical, okay. Technical competencies, then
behavioral
somebody
functional.
said functional competencies. All right.
Behavioral
then
competencies.
said behavioral competencies.
Organizational competencies.
BHAVI. Behavioral. Then somebody said organizational. Anybody else? Any more? Any more? Sumit? Any more?
Can we add role competencies?
Pardon?
Role.
Yes.
ROL, role competency.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Some people also say that like unique competencies and threshold competencies.
Okay, let me see.
Unique and threshold.
Yeah, unique.
Threshold. Then I'm just putting all of it so that unique. Sorry.
Industrial competency is also there.
Pardon?
Industrial competency. That is organization.
Yeah.
Or industry specific competency.
Anybody? Any more? Ninu?
Ethical will go there.
Ninu, any more? Okay.
I think
okay.
That's.
So when I said
Ethical.
So when I'm introducing competencies, I should know we are talking about what, huh? I have, let me first introduce, these are all the competencies. So technical competencies, I will typically say / functional competencies. Okay, right? Now, behavioral competencies / I can also call them as some of them leadership competencies, right? Leadership competencies. Okay. Some organization competencies, I can also call them as core competencies, right? Role-based, yes, role-based will be position-based competencies, threshold and differentiating competencies. Differentiating or unique competencies. All right. Okay. Now, having said that, why did I actually ask you all to run through this laundry list of competencies? So when I start the competency, I have to first of all understand, I have to actually communicate to the employees. So how am I going to communicate? I'm going to give them a kind of a visualization. So when I'm giving a visualization, think of a house. Like the last time I was talking about, okay? Yeah. So if you are going to think of a house, okay, then I'm just sorry. Okay. Now, this is going to be the, I'll draw lines. Okay. So when we are going to, these will be like that. And okay, oh my God. Then just draw that only 3. Oh my. Okay. Now let me just do this. Okay. Then, sorry, guys, I'm a very bad at drawing in this. Okay. Text. So when we look at a house architecture, typically what happens, there is something called, the bedrock or the foundation. So if I were to call this as the foundation, okay, this as the foundation, then you would be requiring certain core competencies, right? Okay, core competencies. Now these core competencies are also called as generic competencies. For example, what are some of the core competencies? It could be teamwork. It could also be like, customer, which orientation, which some of the organizations are very, very high on, customer orientation. Okay. Then it could also be something like creativity. Okay. So core competencies are those competencies which emanate from the values or the philosophy of the organization. Now, when I'm hiring a person, I will say irrespective of the levels, I want everybody to have these core competencies. Okay. But their proficiency level or their intensity level may differ, but everybody should be having these core competencies. Got it? Next, then I'm talking about all these functional competencies or technical competencies or vertical competencies or job family competencies based, they are called vertical. So based on their function, family, job family, etc., that entire family should be having those competencies. For example, an HR is a job family, so it will have its own competencies. A finance will have its own competencies, function specific across, they will have different levels. Obviously, the intensity will change. Now, the roof, what we call it as leadership competencies. Leadership competencies. Now, leadership competencies are required by all the people who are leaders, who will be leading, who will be actually controlling, who will be supervising. So these are leadership competencies. Now, having said that, how do you map leadership competencies? Anybody? We use a tool or a technique called behavioral BEI. What is this technology? we use a tool or technique called behavioral event interviewing, through which we actually interview both superior and average performers. Then we actually look at the entire script, do the coding of the coding, what we call it as thematic analysis, and we arrive at what are those key leadership competencies which are required. Now, functional competencies. How do you map functional competencies? There is a technique or a tool which we use. Anybody who can tell me? We call that as job element analysis. What is it called? Job element analysis. By doing a job element analysis, we derive the functional competencies. So when we talk about functional competencies, we are looking at what? Quickly, so that I know that you are awake. Okay, since Anshu is really very familiar with this, let me check with Anshu. So when we talk about competency mapping and functional competencies, what are we talking, Anshu?
Yeah.
So no, those competencies which are above the water surface. Now you tell me, I gave you a lead. What are they?
That can be evaluated through test and through maybe through interview, maybe through simulation, putting a person in a real situation so that you can see whether a person is doing or not, is able to perform.
Yeah. Absolutely. So these are all those ways of finding out. But what competencies will you look at for functional? You are looking at knowledge and skill, which is above the water.
Knowledge is, yes.
Right? Absolutely. By doing job element analysis, you are getting the knowledge and skill required. By doing a BEI and various other techniques, you are getting the behavioral competencies. Okay? And then by using the value system, company's philosophy, etc., we are then looking at what kind of core competencies are required. Okay, so just to give you an understanding, what we are saying is that every organization, when you are going in for a competency framework, what does it mean? It gives you a list of competencies. Step 1. Then you are clustering those competencies. Step 2 into functional, core, behavioral competencies, leadership competencies. Once you cluster them and once you have done them, then you are writing a competency dictionary, what we talked about in the last session, saying that for every competency, then you are going to define the competency, then you are going to write the indicators of that competency, and you are going to write the bars or the proficiency levels. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1, defining the competency. Step 2, then understanding what are the behavioral indicators. Step 3, then writing the proficiency levels. Okay, guys? Okay, now let us actually start with, because Madam, all of you are fresh, I want to really
Madam, can you just repeat the stages?
Step 1. Just to give you another recap of this, when you say, Sumit, you want to actually, or Anshu, who want to actually introduce competency development, competency mapping, then what will you say? And first of all, try and understand the need. Why do I want it? Then cluster the competencies. That means you have to actually look at the various clusters you want. So we talked about cluster and types of competencies are the same. Okay. Now, once you've got the cluster of competencies, then next what will you do? Then you will write the competency dictionary. After you have done the competency mapping, step 1 is defining the competency. Step 2, defining the behavioral indicators. Step 3, then writing the proficiency levels. Okay, very clear. I want to rub this and now get to that. Can I clear this?
Yeah.
I want to write that. Okay. I talked about step 1 defining competency. Okay. When I said defining competency, say for example, I'm saying a generic competency, a behavioral, a very simple one, adaptability. Okay. If I have to define this, how will I define? Well, how do you understand this definition of adaptability? You can always, when you're doing, look at your internet, look at a global definition, go to Wikipedia and look at it. Typically, how will you, a generic definition, what will it be, or a global definition? How will you? Adaptability is what?
It is flexibility.
Flexibility. Huh?
Flexibility. Okay, I'm going to write that. Flexibility.
Adjustability.
With regard to, it could be a situation.
Yeah, flexibility to learn. Yeah.
It could be people.
Yeah.
With the system also.
Huh? It could be people. It could be
system. Adaptability, the system. With the system. Environment, system.
It could be environment, right?
Culture. Yeah, culture.
It could be, I'm taking culture and all in it, right? Huh? Means adapting
Learning.
to
Learning.
what exactly
skills.
it is.
Learning and skills.
Something new.
Okay.
Adapting
Yeah,
yourself to something new. It could be a new machinery. It could be a new technology, right? Okay. So adapting means how do you adapt yourself to something new, a situation, a people, or an environment, or a culture, or anything. Now, if that be the case, now when I said defining competency is a generic definition you have given. But now say for example, this is Talbros, a company, Talbros. As I said in my last session, that competencies have to be contextual, right? So what is context now? In the context of your organization, right? So therefore, if I'm hiring a person, an HR manager, and if I'm saying a recruitment manager, maybe I'm just putting, if I've defined adaptability as a competence, so I have to then define it in that context of that
organization,
environment, in the context of his work situation, in the context of his organizational structure, everything. So it will change. Why? Say, for example, what the context for a Talbros can be different from Wipro. It can differ from BPO, right? Because adaptability, the focus could be more of machinery, etc. in a manufacturing situation, but in a BPO, it could be more for people, right? New situations. And for somebody, it could be different globally, means it could be different cultures. So it has to be contextual. So why I'm trying to emphasize on context is that competency is generic. You can always take a definition from anywhere, but then make it then fit into your own context. So when you talk about context, look at your environment, look at the structure, look at what the person is doing, because he is going to actually demonstrate a particular behavior in that context. Okay. Having said that, when I said defining competency, adaptability definition, now I said something like we need to write behavior indicator. What does this mean? I'm sorry. What is the behavior indicator? What does it mean? Can you see adaptability like that? No. For me, it doesn't make any sense if I say, hey, he is adaptable. So I have to have some kind of a behavior demonstrated through which I can say, yes, he's adaptable. For example, I'm a recruiter, campus recruiter, okay? And I have to travel a lot. And then I have to go to different campuses, All right. I'll be meeting different kind of people. I'll be interviewing people. There'll be different kind of food everywhere we go. So indicators will be in that context of recruiter. That means flexibility or adaptation to different environment, different cultures, right? Those are the things. So I'm going to write those indicators. Then what will you do? You will then say, hey, proficiency level. I talked about a proficiency level. What is proficiency level? That means the intensity of progression from level 1, you can have 3 levels as a scale or a 5 levels. I would ideally say use just a 4 level scale, because what happens most of the time when you are evaluating, you tend to go the mid path. Have a 4 scale. That becomes very, very effective. Okay. So proficiency is nothing but you are fixing a scale from 1 to, it could be 3, or it could also be 4, or it could also be 5. Okay, guys. So what will a competency model have? A competency model, when I say, it will have for an organization list of competencies which are clustered in different clusters. Then these will have what? List of competencies with definitions and with behavioral indicators and proficiency levels. Okay. Without further ado, I will give you all a break at a much later time, because let us actually work on few things. Okay. To start with, without further ado, let us quickly get into a functional analysis. Then I will take you all through. In fact, she has, Vilma has sent this, guys. So if you have that. Okay. Can you see this? Or should I make it a little bigger? Okay. Okay.
Yes, we can see.
Now, can you see this? Huh?
Yeah, it
Yes,
is fine.
Nirmal.
It is fine.
Yes.
Now, I talked about when you do functional competencies, you are using a technology or you using a technique called, what did I say? Role element analysis, or it can be called as a job element analysis, or it can be called as a task element analysis, right? So what are we doing here? As Sumit said, we are now doing a competency mapping for a particular role,
Role.
So what will be the starting point? First of all, before I get into this element analysis, what kind of a document will I need?
Job description.
Absolutely. The most important document to do your element analysis and even other analysis is a job description. Now, for a job description, how will you go about if you want a good job description? What is that you do? How will you actually document a job description?
Activity analysis.
You do a job analysis.
Job analysis.
You do
Activity
a
analysis.
job analysis. What are the things which comprise in job analysis?
Job description and job specification.
No. You want to do job description, boss. But if you want to do job description, what are the things you will do to arrive at this document or to write this document?
Day-to-day activities.
And the role?
How will you go about creating a job description? My question is, how will you go about
The
creating a job
deliverables
description?
based on the deliverables
Pardon?
of that particular role
Yeah.
from the deliverables.
Okay.
Discussion with the stakeholders in the organization about
Okay.
that.
Okay. Discussion with the stakeholders, interviewing, questionnaire, etc. How much time will you take? Now, guys, let me tell you, all of you can do it very easily without even involving your consultant at a much cheaper rate. Okay. Because once you go back, you must first of all see if all of the positions have job descriptions. I don't know how many of you know, you can use a website or a portal called
Onet.
Onet. I'm sure,
Onet.
aren't you know about it?
Yeah, I know. I
Onet.
Onet.
Who else? Ninu, you know about it? Sunit?
No, no, I was.
Okay. All that you need to do is go to the internet, just type Onet, all right?
Onet. Spelling?
O star net.
No, I'll just show you. Oh, yeah, I'll just go if you want it. I'll show you so that you don't have complication. All that you need to do. Okay. Yeah, I'll just go to this. Only Anshu knows, I think. Nobody else knows. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I able to see? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what did I do? I just went to Onet online. Okay. Now what do? You just type in here. Say, for example, you want to look at the job description of an advertising and a promotion manager. Okay. I've typed in, enter. So you get this. Now I'm clicking on this. So can you see? I can get at one click of a button the summary of this job, which includes tasks, plan and prepare, and advertising, inspects, layouts, confers with department, technology, skills, knowledge, all this stuff. This is only a summary. Now, if you want a detailed one, go to details. And you have everything, say everything, plan and prepare, inspect, layout, confer, coordinates with the media, plan and execute, direct and motivate. Now, can you see? So, if you have a ready benchmark job description, then what will you do next? How will you go about creating your job description for those jobs which are there in your organization? Yeah. What will you do next, Anshu?
Yeah.
What will you do now that I have this detailed job description? Then can I actually then quickly within a couple of days or a week, can I then,
Yes, we can make.
What will I do next?
We can verify with our own job description with this.
So typically what I
validate
do
kar
is,
sakte hain. We can validate it.
Absolutely. What I do is, if there are about 50 jobs, 100 jobs, it can just take about 10 days. Quickly, you have this Google Forms. So what I do, I send it out to the key stakeholders. That means who are recipient of their services, all the stakeholders, internal stakeholders, and sometimes even external stakeholders. Now, what you do, you say, hey, add or delete.
Yes.
For this role, add or delete if you think there are any. Now, when it comes back to you, if there is a kind of a conflict, if somebody said, no, this is not, there's a conflict, then you just call up and then you talk about it and then firm it up. And then talk to your subordinate, validate to your supervisor, validate it, and then you can freeze it. So in this way, what happens? You are able to do a fast job, and also you are able to then do it quickly and also with full details, rather than asking the role incumbent, okay, list down everything right from starting to end, what you do. He may remember something, he may not remember something, right? So using an ONET gives you a real advantage, and most of the consultants do that. Okay, so that's the first step. What is that we did? We actually then documented a job description. So I get a good understanding of the role and responsibilities, the task, the activities of the job. Now I'm doing a job element analysis. What is it? To arrive at functional competencies. Now Now, how will I go about? So first of all, what I will do, I have to actually look at the job description and see what are the broad job elements. For example, I take the example of a recruiter. What could be some of the broad elements? Anybody? Of a recruiter. First of all, have you understood what is a job element?
Nothing. I think you have to
Yes
put
or
some
no?
more
Yes
light
or
on
no?
that.
Quick. Anish?
No.
No?
No. You have to put more light on this.
Yeah. So in a job description, you have a list of things, tasks, activities a person does, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I say job, so that you get from your ONET and you will freeze it and you will create a job description. Now, there are certain activities you do. For example, a recruiter, he will send out, he will take care of all these go to agencies, go to portals, go to headhunters for sourcing of CVs. That means he is doing several activities for achieving one broad element called sourcing. So what does it mean? That there are several activities which go into doing a particular broad task or element, you can call it. For example, if a recruiter will do a lot of things just to do what? Sourcing. Right?
No. Not clear.
Not very clear?
No.
Okay. So what are some of the job elements which a recruiter will be doing? Sourcing, screening,
Coordinating.
okay. Broad elements could be also like coordinating. Okay, I could
Follow
also
up.
put as a broad, okay, coordination, right?
Follow up.
Yeah.
Interviewing.
Then also statutory compliances, some of them, sometimes some recruiters, because if it is coming, statutory compliance.
Yes, statutory compliance.
So what does it mean essentially? Anish wanted clarity. That means I'm doing certain set of activities
Activity.
to
Okay.
accomplish a certain task. Got it?
Understood. Now
Huh?
understood. Activity. We mean to say that what are the particular person is doing the activity to
Yeah.
complete the job.
To accomplish
Okay.
certain tasks. That means I'm dividing that job into several tasks. So I'm actually doing certain, like for example, I'm actually deleting this. Say, I'll write here only. Say if I'm an HR generalist, what are some of the job elements I would be doing? HR generalist. I could be doing recruitment, right? I could be doing induction. Yeah, guys, tell me, Nina, HR generalist. What else? Quick. I could be doing performance management, right?
Yeah, compliance. Yeah,
I
compliance
could be
management.
doing compliance. I could also be doing
R&R.
payroll.
R&R.
Payroll. Yes, as somebody said, I could be doing R&R.
Yeah.
I'll put R and R. Okay. Reward and recognition.
And then retention of talent management, we can say that.
Okay. What is happening here? R and R. Okay.
Talent management.
Yeah. So have you understood what is job element, everybody? Because Anish did not understand. Now you understand what are job elements. Now, once you have got an understanding of the job elements and from where did we get them? From job description. Then I will look at, say, we are only looking at recruiter. I will look at what is the knowledge required and what is the skill required at a threshold level. Now I will explain what is the threshold. Threshold means for just minimum level of knowledge and minimum level of skill to do effective performance. Got it? So say for example, for sourcing, what is the level of knowledge and what is the skill? Anybody? Guys, quick. I'm going to send you this PPT also, not to worry, guys. I'll give you in detail. Tell me what is the knowledge required for sourcing at a threshold level.
Yeah, data
Because you are
management.
going to do a
Yes, data management.
Understanding the profile.
Knowledge of
Data
making.
management. We can tell.
knowledge
Data
of
management.
knowledge of portals, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Knowledge about the portals.
Then
Then
proficiency
what is
in this
knowledge of
computer.
portals? Then it could also be knowledge of different I mean, what is this? Softwares or platforms.
Yeah, MS Office.
Yes.
We can say
Different
computer.
technologies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then knowledge of your own industry, right? Industry. What else? Okay. Now skill. Ability to use that platforms, right?
Maybe
Huh? Is he skilled
communication.
enough? Ability to use all those Excel and PowerPoints, etc. Got
Yeah.
it? So technology at the minimum level, all the technology platforms.
Yeah, technology savvy, we can say.
Okay. Now let us fill this. Now for a superior performer, what do you think will be required? Tell me now.
Oh,
For a differentiator, that means what will differentiate from the threshold?
Able to handle the right profile.
No, but what knowledge? Tell me. That means
Knowledge of the industry and people working in those
knowledge of
companies.
different industries,
Yes.
right? At a higher level, now
Yes.
different industries now.
yeah, or we can say that the knowledge of the
Analyzing
competitor
the-
industry,
analyzing the-
computer industry.
Social media, LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Yes.
how to use social media, right?
Can we say that
Networking.
technology savvy?
Networking
And
also.
and also, of course, in skill you have to be highly, different, to be very, very fluent with multiple technologies.
Networking also.
Networking.
Networking and cost-effective sourcing.
Absolutely. So all those things. So if you want to be cost effective, first of all, you have to know from where to source, right? So this guy only knows, go to a placement guy, go to just that my website, etc. But the guy who's a differentiator, you should see how he will be so innovative in sourcing his talent, right? Now, say for example, in screening. So this, oh, sorry, I did it for screen. Now I'll just rub this. Can I rub it?
Yeah.
This, I wrote this one here. So let us use this now for screening. What kind of a knowledge you will need for screening?
Understanding about the key roles.
Exactly.
Keywords.
You are actually
Job
understanding
description.
not only key roles. If you are saying whatever roles. So first of all, knowledge of the roles. But if you want to understand the knowledge of the roles, then understanding the business and the industry is also very important, right? Knowledge of industry.
Know the business. Yeah,
knowledge of the industry, knowledge of the activity, role.
Know-how about the business.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Know-how. But when you talk about this guy who's a differentiator, you know what he does? He actually knows market intelligence. He actually knows the trends of the industry, what's happening in different kind of industry. So he's at a much, trends. He knows what's happening at all that. Yes. So when you talk about again at screening, this guy is using only maybe Excel and then he puts a word, okay? Low technology, just minimum. But this guy will know how to handle multiple technologies and quickly screen them in no time, right?
Right.
Analytics.
Yeah. So guys, now that I have given you a good understanding of A, you have to now break that job description into different elements. Then two, then write what is the knowledge required and what is the skill required at a threshold, and what will a person who will actually be a superior performer, who is called a differentiator, will have at a knowledge and a skill level. Now, Vilma sent you 3 job descriptions, okay? I want you all to work on only one job description right now, which is very, very familiar with you. It's called the training manager. Are all familiar with the training manager role?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a job description, Neenu, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Now, she also sent you this template. Okay. You should not be taking more than 30 minutes because everybody is very familiar. Look at your job description, break it down into different elements, then write the knowledge and skill required for every job element. Okay. So I will just quickly make, let me stop sharing. I'll make a breakout room. Oh, Vilma is there. Vilma? Vilma, would you make them or should you want me to make them?
Yeah, I just came back, so I'll do it.
Okay. So once they go back, then we can again coordinate. So all of you, have you understood what you need to do? A, you are doing a job element analysis, or rather mapping functional competencies. So you are doing a job element or a role-based element analysis. So you have 3 job descriptions. You have to take any one of them, but I thought you will be very familiar with the training manager's role. So therefore, please pick on, or you have a choice. There are 3 job descriptions. You can choose any. So what you need to do is break it into elements and write for threshold, knowledge, skill, and for differentiating. Okay. Yeah. Before you go to your breakout room, any clarification? Anish?
No, it's okay. Understood.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So I'm opening the room now.
Yeah. Then I'll come to the room.
You can join in.
And
This meeting is being recorded.
discussing and writing the elements first. First write the elements. Okay. So who is taking the lead of sharing your screen with others? Today Murthy is very quiet. I haven't heard him talking at all. Murthy, are you there?
Yes, Nirmala.
Okay.
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. So who is going to, so you have the job descriptions. So as I said, you have to put up, somebody has to share that template and then start working. Yeah, I can't see anybody actually putting it up.
Yeah, I'm just trying.
Okay, who is going to do it? Anish? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Even last time you did it, right?
Yeah. No, Neenu was there, I believe.
Acha. Neenu.
Yeah. My screen is visible?
Not yet.
No.
Now?
No.
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 Oh my God. What is happening? Coming out.
I'll try, Anis.
Yeah.
So if you notice, there is something called the purpose of this role, right? Whenever you write a job description, there will always be a purpose of this role. Why is this role here? So if you can see, the training manager will identify and monitor training needs in the organization, design, plan, and implement training programs, policies, and procedures to fulfill those needs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if this is the purpose of the existence of the training manager, now you look at the various job elements you can think of in that template. You can add more because that template will have just 1 or 2, but please have at least 5 to 6 job elements, or at least 5.
Okay.
I can just give you one lead, guys. No, if you can just see the summary itself, you will say what. One is identification of training needs.
Training and TNI.
Okay, that is one job element. So you will have to look through what are those things he does for identification of training needs, and then what is the kind of a knowledge required and what is the kind of a skill required. Then second is monitoring training needs, right? Monitoring. So it could be monitoring of both needs as well as implementation, because he is also responsible for implementation. So implementation itself could be one job element, implementing training programs. So I've given you 2 already. Now I want all of you to think more.
Training administration is also a part.
Yeah, but that will be another job element, no? Because he will be doing a set of tasks for administration as well.
Okay. I think cost consciousness.
So training budget itself will be one job element. Huh?
Yeah. Can we say cost consciousness?
Cost consciousness is not a element.
Okay.
Training
Budget
budget
is a
wherein you are looking at cost. So training budget will be one major element where he will have to look at, in training budget, what is the knowledge required. That means if I have to maintain my budget, I have to have a good understanding of vendors, what vendors I need to use, right?
Yeah, that is why I was using that phrase, because budget is the one already fixed. For example, X amount is fixed for the training and development.
Yeah,
the manager should have cost consciousness before deploying the agency or hiring the agency. That was my intention.
Okay, Anish, so I will explain to you a little more. I said job element. You said, can I write cost consciousness, right? You tell me, cost consciousness is something you have to look at when you are executing certain things, right? Okay.
Right.
But that does not result into a broad task accomplishment. Got it?
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, then the knowledge of budget, we can say that, or the budget management, we can say.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave you for some time so that I want to see, I want you guys to, I've already given you certain leads. Huh? I will just be on a mute.
Okay. Yeah, Ninu, can you open that sheet also where we have to write it? So we will discuss and
role
keep
task
writing
element
over there.
analysis sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Role and
So
task
simultaneously, we refer this master sheet and immediately we'll write there. Otherwise, we will miss out.
Is that sheet shared by email? Was it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is in email.
It is available with WhatsApp only.
Yes, WhatsApp screenshot we use.
It's only in WhatsApp.
Hold on. Theory for session 2. Yeah, it is on only not on mail. It is on WhatsApp.
Or can we just write here?
Yeah, that is so possible. Element, threshold, and differentiator.
The element we have now is identifying training needs and implementing training programs.
And before implementing, in my view, develop modules also for the training.
I would
Developing-
actually, guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I
Yes.
will
Yes, yes.
appreciate if you use that template, because that becomes then very, very clear for you.
Okay.
Because that, where job element, threshold, knowledge and skill, and then differentiator. I think Bilma has already sent that template.
Yeah, it is on WhatsApp actually.
Oh.
Okay, we'll fetch it out. No
But
issue.
that's one, I think you can do it in a minute.
Yeah.
Is somebody getting the, or wait,
Can we
Hold on.
use that insert button?
can we do on this? Will this work?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Only we have to put the table there, nothing else.
Element, threshold.
Differentiated.
That's it. Okay.
Identifying.
T and I you can write there. T and I.
Identifying is okay.
TNI.
T and I. That's it. We all will know that. TNI.
Over here, I didn't get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
TNI. Then
Training and development. T and
training need identification.
yeah.
TNI.
That's
TNI.
TNI.
need. N stand for need. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
like okay, training need identification. Okay.
Yeah.
Then module.
Developing the modules.
Develop the module.
Oh,
The module.
Or you can write developing content.
Content, yeah.
Content develop. Content
Content
design.
development. Training content development, right? Yeah.
Then sourcing the trainers or
Identifying this trainer for sourcing.
but that will be element. That will be sub activity, na?
no, that will come after the once
Delivery
you
of
develop
training?
the module. So before delivery, you need to finalize whether it is external trainer, who all are the trainers.
But I think sourcing the trainer
Yeah.
is an element.
Hmm.
Sourcing the trainer. Then preparing the training calendar.
Then after organizing the training.
Organizing the training. Then administration, training administration.
No, then budget management also we can.
Budget management. Correct.
Yes.
Then collaboration. Collaboration, can we say what word we have used there?
Budget management is a
Collaboration with
part of
vendor.
training calendar development. No?
Collaboration with vendors. I mean to say that collaboration with vendor. So collaboration can be element itself.
The
The guy
collaboration
should
is a
be-
part of training trainer sourcing.
Can we put it here? Sourcing the trainer or reviewing vendors?
No, vendor management we can say, or something else we have to say in broader concept actually.
Development.
Yeah, or we can say vendor development. So
Or vendor management.
Or vendor management, yeah. I think that is enough. Let's go to threshold.
Then training calendar development.
No, I think TNI का पहला threshold में ना normally we take out this TNI two ways ना, either one is from PMP and the supervisor interview, correct? Or line manager interview, what we should say that. To get the what exactly training they wanted to enhance in team to take to next level.
I'll just give you leads, guys. So typically, if you go through the job description of a training manager, essentially, it's a very strategic function who is actually trying to ensure bridge the gap of competencies or in terms of whatever they lack, so that they can have translated to do effective performance. Now, he does what? Identifying training gaps, which is called training need analysis or training need identification, which I've rightly said. Then two, he also does what? Creating, managing, and delivery of training programs, right? So when you're talking about a broad job element like delivery of training programs, then all this vendor management, everything comes there. Or you can also look at vendor management as a one job element. I have no issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Because sourcing the trainer becomes a part of the vendor management. You agree?
Yeah.
Right. Because in case of in-house training, we don't have to go for vendor management.
Yeah, internal person also we can call vendor, no? As far training is concerned, either internal or external, based on availability of the talent. So
can I say training calendar development will be like, planning and scheduling trainings?
Yeah, it's a more broader way.
Right?
That is
because
right.
There'll be a lot more activities in that, no?
Yeah, sure.
Planning.
Yeah, training, planning, and scheduling.
Delivery. Then
evaluation.
So in training content design, you can also add design and content development.
Yeah.
See, one is, I'll just tell you the flow of a training manager. Identifying, delivery, then evaluation. He has just given training. He also has to evaluate, no? Whether both in terms of whether he is able to perform. So that means he was also responsible for afterwards evaluation, so that he is able to perform. And then of course the budget part. So just look at that in this, and then you can easily
correct.
Identifying problems on opportunities such as conducts or facilities required and recommended training sessions, collaborate with vendors, so the training milestones and goals are met. Prepares and implements. So that will be a training budget, okay? Performs other related duties as assigned.
One thing you can add, no? Evaluation of trainings. Yeah. Evaluation you can put last. Feedback. What can we?
Evaluation is better.
Evaluation is better. Yeah. You can remove that feedback word. That's it. Evaluation. That is what the 4 or 5, I believe, major content elements.
You can, now start looking at knowledge and skills.
In case of TNI, data entry threshold.
Management, we can say.
Data entry part is there.
Data management.
Data management.
So write K and S so that you know for sure that knowledge and skill.
Yeah.
K and then down you'll write So you'll have to broaden your box.
Yes. We'll keep writing there, then we'll go for S. Knowledge.
I'll be out of it so that I will, for some time again, I'll come back in this.
Sure. Thank you.
Actually, data management is a skill.
TNI knowledge.
Understanding the performance indicators, understanding on competency gap.
That is right, but how to put it here?
Competency gaps.
Actually, data management is a skill.
उसको कॉपी पेस्ट करके नीचे ले लो नीनू. Yeah, thank you. That's it. And knowledge में what you said, Sumit?
Knowledge, understanding about the appraisal.
So, business knowledge. Can we say business knowledge or business requirement or competency gap?
Competency gap.
Needs,
Okay.
no?
Business needs.
Business needs.
Yeah. Then कॉमा करके उसके सामने और एक दे देना आप चाहिए तो. Yeah, competency
gap.
Gap analysis.
Competency assessment.
हाँ, yeah, right word is that. Competency assessment. ठीक है. Now skill में आ जाते हैं हम लोग. Data management एक ठीक है. और उसको वो TNI मतलब
Excel
कंप्यूटर
knowledge.
नॉलेज. हाँ, एक्सेल तो कंप्यूटर सेवी तो नहीं बोलेंगे, बट बेसिक नॉलेज ऑफ कंप्यूटर, MS ऑफिस एंड एक्सेल और समथिंग. या
Can we call it tech savvy? What is the word for?
Actually
no technical, no computer knowledge.
Proficiency
Kind of
with
we use.
Yeah. What one word you use now?
Low technology.
Yeah.
Low
What is that?
technology. Last time we used low technology.
No.
Low, LOY, LOW.
Oh.
Technology.
आप नो कर देंगी तो बढ़िया है, फिर तो कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है. लो टेक्नोलॉजी. लो टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं.
No, yeah, can we put MS Office?
NOW. हाँ, स्पेसिफिक लिख दो ना चाहिए तो.
With MS Office?
MS Office.
MS Office is enough.
Yeah.
नीनू hands on experience on MS Office, Excel, ऐसे कर दो.
Computer proficiency.
Yeah, hands on experience. इसको और अच्छा सा फ्रेज चाहिए कोई, but at least write that, वो आएगा दिमाग में तो हम देते हैं. Hands on experience. Hands on experience. Expertise बोल सकते हैं. Hands on expertise. या expertise with MS Office and हाँ, वो पर का hands on निकाल दो फिर आप शायद.
नहीं तो expertise differentiator में आएगा ना. Threshold hands on experience.
अच्छा, ठीक है. That is
basic computer knowledge.
that's all right.
Yeah, I think basic computer knowledge here and differentiator, it will be expertise.
Basic computer knowledge. इसको कॉपी करके आप इधर ले लो डिफरेंशिएट में. एक्सपर्ट देते हैं. या कंप्यूटर सेवी लिख देंगे हम लोग वहां पर. यहाँ पर बेसिक नॉलेज ऑफ बेसिक कंप्यूटर नॉलेज.
जो K और S है ना, इसको कॉपी करके इधर पहले ही डाल देना से ठीक रहेगा.
Which one?
K और S
तो इसको पहले
डिफरेंशिएट में भी डाल दो.
बार-बार लिखना पड़ेगा.
Oh, it doesn't work, huh?
वो बीच में
नॉलेज में बिजनेस नीड कॉम्पिटेंसी.
स्टेक होल्डर मैनेजमेंट लिखे इसमें डिफरेंशिएटर में, बिकॉज द डिफरेंशिएटर शुड नो द मोर टेक्स स्टेक होल्डर, अकॉर्डिंगली ही विल गाइड नीड ऑफ बिजनेस. इंडस्ट्री रिक्वायरमेंट्स, कॉम्पिटिटर, इंडस्ट्री एंड कॉम्पिटिटर रिक्वायरमेंट, ऐसे इंडस्ट्री एंड कॉम्पिटिटर
knowledge about industrial standards.
Industry standards.
Standards.
And competitor.
And competitor.
Standards and competitor.
Industry standard and
like what they are doing. How do we say what they are doing? Competitor. Analysis, understanding.
No, understanding is better word. Then something will come in mind, so we'll replace that.
Yeah.
ठीक है स्किल में इसमें
Data
लिख देते हैं
analytics.
कंप्यूटर savvy
Here it
और
will be data
टेक्नोलॉजी
man-
savvy
Now, in case of
data analytics
management,
yeah
data analytics.
strong in analytics ऐसे लिखो ना strong in analytics that is okay
Yeah.
Can I just intervene so that your process of thinking? I'll just give you one lead here. Like for example, if you are writing a TNI, training need identification. So what is the outcome? I'm trying to understand the gaps, identifying in what areas I need. So what is the person supposed to be doing, and what kind of inputs I need? Like for example, if I'm trying to identify needs, so I have to have knowledge. First of all, yeah, your business needs competency assessment, right? Like for example, you need to have a very good understanding of the roles, the responsibilities of all the functions. Then B, analysis. How are you do? That's a skill, analyzing the data you have received. Like say for example, I have received input from performance management, because that is one area where you actually collate all the data from the performance management and take all the training needs. So look at that a little more, think deeply, saying that what is that a person is supposed to be doing when his outcome is this. Okay, then you will definitely get at a threshold what does he do, and at a differentiator what do you need. But so far so good, you are going good, but I just thought to improve your process of thinking.
yeah
Okay guys,
thank you
okay.
thank you yeah design content and development knowledge
Knowledge of processes.
design knowledge
Knowledge of
processes mean
process.
process
Here
mean what
Means
exactly
whatever the
Roles.
process,
in
technical
case of
processes,
threshold, in case of threshold,
only then content can be developed.
design and content development,
Is the role is an understanding of the role, right? An understanding of the
role, and skill is the same. Computer skill. Job.
Design content development means now we are talking about TNI or calendar development, right? Training
Yeah.
calendar development. We're talking about that, correct? Job understanding. And then he should know the outcome of PMS also, right? Where
Not
need has
exactly
been identified.
calendar. In case of design and content, he's practically developing the module, training module.
Then
Training
business
calendar comes
acumen.
under planning and scheduling.
Yeah, then can we say there business acumen again? Job understanding, comma, business acumen.
Business acumen.
So that we can take the right content. Where to develop the team, right? Business acumen, the skill.
Knowledge of product and process.
Just basic computer. In threshold, he is a computer or data entry operator actually. Assisted kind of thing.
Skill development में design and content development. What skill he should have? Let's put somebody who is working as a senior executive HR or assistant manager HR. So what he does for us, or what we want him to do for us when we wanted to develop this particular entire calendar. So only data management is not that much, but again something more he has to do, right? So mapping all the training data, putting in the line department wise, then outcome of the PMS, then sitting with the line manager and collecting the data about the cat. So that skill he need, right? Communication, he must be good in
Writing ability.
communication. Writing ability, yeah.
Yeah.
good in communication, then only he will be able
Definitely.
to connect with all. The communication will be skill there. Yeah, communication. Module, what you wanted to write something after
Yeah.
module?
Module development or module designing sort of.
But skill, what skill need to do that? Definitely.
Basic computer knowledge.
Text
Basic
savvy.
computer knowledge, communication skill.
Communication is skill, no? He should be very good in communicating, getting and giving the data or feedback, something like that, no? Collecting
So
and
the
going
only
around.
thing you have to question here is, will the training manager himself do this content development, or is he going to get it done?
Yeah.
In both ways, get it done also from
And
outside.
also, yeah,
And
maybe
also
review the
inside.
content, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Module development, you can write there module development, and then refine work will be done by the his line manager. Module development is also there. At least basic module he will develop, no? Knowledge.
So typically, when you are developing, if you see all the training, so you are saying training manager is also going to develop. So then you have to have this. Typically, they do a lot of research. If you notice,
Research.
Yeah.
Searching
right?
from internet.
Different areas. If I'm actually trying to create a module or a training, content for some kind of a topic, then I'll be doing a lot of research. So one skill is research skills.
Yeah. It will go and sit there, next column.
I'm actually prodding out so
Different.
that you don't get stopped anywhere. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
no.
you can carry on.
We are pulling our mind actually to think on that line. Yeah, research what were research and R&D कर दो उसको यार, R&D, research and development.
Skill, no?
No, that is knowledge ना. उसमें skill आएगा फिर वही portal management, to know the more internet savvy, then that is the skill of the gentleman to find out the right content on the research. He can carry out the right research in
Then the focus becomes more on a content developer role.
Knowledge of experts on the topic.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
Because whenever you are a training manager, you're looking at, hey, who are the experts who can actually deliver this training program?
Yeah. Oh.
Experts in the field.
Yeah. Know how about the what we call that, no? If I have to do certain domain, yes.
You should have the market information.
Yeah.
Knowledge of latest trend.
Domain, ठीक है. Domain knowledge is the right word. Domain knowledge,
तो
because it will help us to identify. Let us see, अगर हमको किसी को ट्रेनिंग करना होता है तो हम easily internal find out करते, no, that XYZ will do better here. Talk to him. He can prepare and come. Or we'll say, no, internally we don't have anyone. We have to go outside. At least he should have that domain knowledge. That is what my intention behind it.
Yeah, domain knowledge is required.
Then only he will search the right direction, no?
And understanding about the stakeholder.
Yeah, now design content development.
Here, one of the skill may be innovative.
Yeah, good. Innovative approach. Can we say like
Innovative
that?
approach.
No, or only innovative.
Innovativeness.
Achha, innovativeness. Okay. Then it will go otherwise behavioral part. Innovative and
creativeness.
Yeah, innovative and creative.
Out of the box thinking.
Creative.
Knowledge.
Creative. वो स्किल में कैसे बैठेगा? Out of box thinking.
Presentation skills लिखते थे. Presentation skills.
Yes. That will be much better.
Presentation. But we are
do you-
designing content, not presenting. But okay, presentation skill may also work.
But out of box thinking will sit here in skill.
Yeah,
No, it's a creativeness.
creativeness,
But
creativity.
then we should replace with that. I think
Creativeness.
creativity
But
will be a
creativity.
skill.
Creativity.
Creativity would be a skill rather than this is the more or less tender, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Perfect.
Ability to customize the available resources.
Then resource management.
No, not resource management.
Even a training manager has to be.
There are a lot of modules
skilled on
already available.
administration.
You may customize
Administrative
according to
skill.
your need. Need-based
But
customization.
what skill required to do that? What skill required to do that or perform that way?
Is it strategy? Other
Skill.
Ability to customize the modules. It's not required that every time we are approaching to the experts.
But presentation skill is not required in design content. Design and content development.
In designing also, if you are presenting your topic, then
Okay, yeah.
presentation skill
PPT
will also
No,
PPT,
it's very much required.
how you are
no?
making the
Otherwise,
PPTs
he will
and
do
all this.
No. At least if you have to make one nice calendar, he should have that presentation skill. Otherwise, very nice T&I will go if business folder will not able to catch up.
How do you say tailor-made approach or?
It's a kind of tailor.
We have to think on skill now to do this because this is outcome actually. What we are talking now is outcome. What skill I should have? So my tailor-made approach will come out. My analytics will come out. So what skill I should have to do that? So this all are the outcome actually. Skill.
Shall we go to the next one and then come back?
Yeah, sure.
Vendor management.
Vendor management.
Knowledge. Know how about the
Knowledge
industry?
of,
Know about the industry, we can say that. So everything you will know about the vendors, management, internal, external.
Industry knowledge.
Yeah, industry knowledge.
Guys, 10 more minutes.
Okay.
Industry know-how, knowledge.
Then communication skill. Communication
skill. ऊपर आ गया ना?
In case of vendor management, threshold will be communication skill. He or she has to communicate with the trainers.
But ऊपर आ गया है ना सुमित, ऊपर लिखा है हमने. Do you want again?
Repeat हो सकता है.
Then तो difficult हो जाएगा ना. Every element will be having the same competency then.
Okay, then.
थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा.
Negotiation skills लिख सकते.
Yeah. I think
in vendor management, communication skills are important, right? Because they will be speaking to all these.
Is basic.
I agree with that. Only my doubt was that already we have written one level above. Again, we need to write. So that was the only intention. Because threshold belong to all 4 elements, right? Not only one element. So if at any place he has that communication skill, definitely he can apply in different element as well. Or still we wanted to clear, then we can write, no issue. Otherwise it will get repetitive ना, हम लोग उधर ही ब्लॉक हो जाएंगे फिर हम लोग फिर नया नहीं सोचेंगे कुछ.
Yeah, exactly.
Industry know-how is okay. Then one more thing I had to add there. Vendor management. Negotiation skill is okay for here, gentlemen. At least basic negotiation he can do.
Basic negotiation.
Right, na?
Correct.
Negotiation. Yeah. Communication को हटाएंगे हम लोग यहाँ से. If all are agree, just I'm giving my opinion.
Yeah, communication skill is not required here.
Okay.
Negotiation is okay, industry know-how. Then come to differentiate. Maybe here networking.
ऊपर भी लिखते हैं knowledge में.
Knowledge.
Networking. We say something else. Socialize and net. What word is there? No, we always use that word actually. Socialize and networking. Socialize and networking, right? Is a
Yeah.
Okay.
It will be a skill, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
For knowledge.
Industry knowledge की जगह vendor management. Sorry. Vendor management के लिए उसका skill एक level ऊपर होना चाहिए, तो he should know the
Vast knowledge about the industry.
The expertise.
Expert.
sorry. नहीं, हमने इधर थ्रेशोल्ड में लिखा है ना कि इंडस्ट्री नॉलेज, तो assume that this threshold differentiator is the boss of this particular person. He should already have it rather than struggling for that. So he should give it to the one level below, do this all. So that much knowledge he should have. He should not search for the knowledge here, differentiator. Industry knowledge का जब हम बात कर रहे हैं ना, he should be master of knowledge. This is what my submission actually. So how to put it in there? Industry knowledge. What we say that? Cross functional, not cross functional. Difficult. Vendor management.
Mobilize the vendors, mobilize the vendor without having, or cost effective, you can say. That will definitely differentiate.
नहीं, अगर इसका synonyms क्या
Mobilizing
आएगा?
the cost effective vendors. That can only be done only then you have a good amount of knowledge of the training agencies. There are a lot of people who are providing means online free trainings like that in today's scenario. So that cannot be done without having this type of like knowledge.
Yeah, write something. We'll build on that. At least
Yeah.
some thoughts will come. Write something. Cost effective.
Only cost effective will not make any sense.
Yeah, we
That is
need to.
that is not a knowledge actually. That is skill. If you do it, you will do in 100 rupees, or somebody will do in 80 rupees. The gentleman has that skill to
we
bring
have to
down,
write
right?
knowledge about the budget
Knowledge of
or
resource mobilization,
market knowledge.
cost effective resource mobilization.
Yeah, market knowledge can be
Correct,
written there.
Knowledge of cost effective resource mobilization knowledge.
Only then you can differentiate. Na? If you have industry know-how, what does it matter?
स्किल भी हमने एक ही लिखा है उसका, नेटवर्किंग. समथिंग मोर वी हैव टू राइट देयर. वेंडर मैनेजमेंट में स्किल क्या हो सकता है? डिफरेंशियल स्किल. नेगोशिएशन तो यहाँ हो रहा है, यहाँ क्या बोले हम लोग? What was I would like to suggest ना, ये जो top we have written ना, cost effective resource mobilization, that should come and sit at skill level. Networking के after networking, because that is related with this negotiation skill.
Definitely for that knowledge is also required and application of knowledge is also required. So
exactly.
here
So that
this is knowledge also and skill also.
He should have the approving skill.
Yeah.
He may come with n numbers of options. Finally, the training manager has to approve. The approving skill, decision making skill.
Yeah.
decision making बोलो आप. Decision making.
Decision making. Yes.
Decision making बोल सकते हैं. Yeah. Decision
Can we
making.
put relationship management?
Yes. Decision
Yes.
making, relationship management. Yeah.
Knowledge में can we put competitive knowledge?
Sorry.
Competitive knowledge.
Competitive knowledge. Yes. Why not? What exactly you mean to say? Competitive
But
means,
that is not for
peer
us. That
industry
is
knowledge?
for the vendors. Competition. They must know about their competition.
Yes.
How it is
No, I
going
don't
to
know.
help us.
What was his thought? We need to understand.
No,
What was his thought?
my thought is based on the industry, we have to pick the vendors.
So you mean to say peer industry knowledge? Can we say peer industry knowledge? That was your intention?
Yes.
Okay, then peer industry knowledge we can say. The competitor knowledge, peer industry knowledge.
Should we move this cost-effective resource?
हाँ वो थोड़ा नीचे लेके आएंगे तो that would be better. It's my suggestion. I don't know what others are saying. But that is more relating with negotiation skill, not with knowledge. We know that na our one level below or two level below gentlemen come with X amount with X proposal. We say okay, let it be. Let me look into that, and definitely we approach with different mindset,
Whenever
different
we
strategy.
go for any selection of any vendor, we have to understand the value of the money. I mean, value of the product. That is very essential.
And
So
evaluating vendor also, you can put up.
Evaluating
Evaluating the vendor. How to evaluate.
But
Knowledge of evaluating.
evaluating vendor is
vendor.
a skill.
The evaluation will be at
Can we
this
put there
Evaluating the vendor.
थोड़ा aspect impact of the training? The threshold person should know it. Aspect impact can be put in knowledge.
5 more minutes.
Yeah, we need 7 more. That's all.
What did Anis say?
Aspect impact of training. That knowledge you should have. Knowledge. Aspect and impact.
Aspect.
Aspect impact of training. That gentleman before finalizing vendor of the what this vendor will give impact on our team, no?
Exactly. Aspect and
that
impact
assessment
of
has to be done by the threshold guy.
Yeah. Aspect and impact.
I think it come out nicely.
I think
Planning में आ जाइए थोड़ा. Yeah, it is objective test. We will lose the mark if we don't attend it. Come down. Planning, scheduling, knowledge, time management. वो skill आएगा शायद. Skill में लिख दो आप time management. Whatever comes in mind, we'll keep writing. Time management. well, वापस same thing.
Organizational skills.
Yeah, organizing. ठीक है. और ऊपर नॉलेज में क्या लिखेंगे? प्लानिंग एंड शेड्यूलिंग में एबल टू नो प्लानिंग एंड शेड्यूलिंग. शेड्यूलिंग में उनका जेडी में देखते हैं ना. समथिंग वी कैन गेट फ्रॉम जेडी आल्सो. वी आर नॉट रेफरिंग जेडी.
All of you know, think that you all know this training manager job so well.
We predicted that way. We know it, but now we understand we don't know it. Extremely organized and detailed. ये लिख सकते हैं उसके लिए extremely organized and detail oriented. So organize and
detailing
organize
knowledge.
and detailing. Organize.
Detailing is skill actually.
या वो स्किल में डाल सकते हैं उसके. मैं जेडी में से उठाता हूँ कुछ तो कॉपी पेस्ट कर रहा हूँ. Proficient with Microsoft Office suite or related software. वो तो हमने लिखा है कहीं.
Guys, 4:27, so just 3. Okay, 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Knowledge about the
You are at the end
calendar.
of it.
Verbal and written communication भी
Knowledge about the calendar.
skill बोला है. Yeah. नहीं verbal
Knowledge
and
of-
written.
Knowledge of
in case of knowledge threshold, we can write knowledge about the
softwares.
working hours, knowledge about the
नहीं strong graphic design ability. वो भी उसका एक skill requirement में लिखा है जेडी में. Strong graphic design ability.
but that is
उसको भी
for
डाल दो उधर skill में.
that is for
No,
differentiator.
skill में. हाँ, somewhere you put it. Just I am referring the JD because she is writing there, na. So I open that JD with my. तो graphic designing में डाल दो उसका differentiator को.
Yeah, graphic design.
And then ability to moderate large group. Yeah, ability to moderate large group. Where it will sit?
Delivery.
Ability to moderate delivery में. Okay. थोड़ा एक एक टाइप कर लो कहीं तो empty रखने से better है. Conduct and facilitate required recommended training session. Collaborate with vendor. ठीक है, आ गया. Ensure that training milestone and goals are met. ये कहाँ डाल सकते हैं?
Milestone and
Milestone and goals are met while adhering to the approved training budget. मतलब ट्रेनिंग बजट तो है, खर्चा हो गया, लेकिन गोल अचीव नहीं हुआ है, डिलीवरी हुआ नहीं है.
evaluation में evaluation.
हाँ, इवैल्यूएशन में डाल सकते हैं इसको.
Evaluation.
गोल्स क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Goals are met while adhering to approved training budget. Milestone, training milestone and goals. ऐसे लिख दो, training milestone and goals. Evaluation में, evaluation of training milestone and goals. Prepare and implement training budget, ठीक है. Perform other related duties as assigned, not issue. Review existing training program. Ensure that training material and programs are current, accurate, and effective.
Delivery में threshold में हो सकता है. Knowledge about the training materials.
Yeah. Ninu, too many things we are talking. You have to capture right word and right down.
Tough to write down.
Ensure knowledge of
training materials.
Knowledge of training material.
And skill में put up time management.
Also presentation skill. In case of
time management, presentation skill.
Presentation skill.
Supervisory responsibility. Oversee the daily activity of training associate and consultants. Conducts performance evaluation. हाँ, ये डालना चाहिए.
Evaluation.
Evaluation में डाल दीजिए. Conduct performance evaluation that are timely and constructive. So conduct constructive performance evaluation. वो threshold में आ सकता है.
But here knowledge is required for doing that. Conduct becomes the skill.
So the knowledge of evaluation डाल दो ना आप.
So knowledge of evaluation
knowledge
techniques.
of evaluation.
Evaluation techniques.
Yeah.
Knowledge of evaluation techniques.
Correct.
And skill में analytical skills can be right.
Yes. Yeah.
This skill is required for the differentiator.
Differentiator. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the person at threshold level, he will just.
Good. We made it. Huh? The knowledge में कुछ नहीं आया.
Please give a big hand. Everybody needs a big hand, because I know for people why I actually am proud of this great participation, because for students it comes easily, but for people who've been working, it takes a time, and you've done really, you took time, you discussed a lot. Yeah. So let's go through this before we break, and then we will come back to the next one quickly. Yeah. Then we will do some, can I see right from the beginning?
Yeah, Renu थोड़ा ऊपर ले लो. That's it. Okay. TNI को बीच में लाओ.
Yeah. I'm not able to hear. So whoever is presenting and whoever is talking, a little louder.
No, Renu will only present today from our side.
Guys, more the number, more you will feel confident, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Sure. No, just I'm joking. Okay, let me start. So the TNI threshold knowledge, what we thought after discussion is a business need and competency assessment. That are the basic knowledge a threshold person should have. And the differentiator should have the industry standard competitor and understanding knowledge, so that he can give input to create or to make the TNI needs.
Okay, so I will just add, you are absolutely good, you've written, but I will just give you a little more. At a threshold level, this guy is only looking at, okay, if the employees are at, a certain rating scale, then the in consultation with the business head, they will think, oh, I have to move this to a higher level. So he's only looking at the immediate needs, very tactical, right? But a differentiator means a person who is at a superior performer training manager, he will look at, hey, how can I ensure that what are those short-term and long-term gaps which I need to cater, so that, you know, he's also looking at not of today only, but also in the long term. A threshold guy will only look at, you know, month on month, on maybe a quarterly basis, but the differentiator will be looking at in terms of long term. One is gaps. Two, how am I collecting? One can do just interview method and all that, but today's in terms of technology, maybe your organization is in different locations. How am I able? So technology is also important, right? You will agree?
Yeah. We have taken that in skill, data management and basic
Strong
computer skill.
analytics and expertise with MS Office, etc. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So we won't get into more because I have few points to tell you at the end. Yeah. Next one. What is the next one?
Design and content development. So threshold level, we thought job understanding, business acumen model development. That are the at threshold level, and differentiator, the research and development knowledge of expert in the field, domain knowledge.
Right. I think I will take it from you that yes, content development and design, you know, at various levels and what. So a wide variety of design and content development. Okay. Vendor management. Let's go to vendor
threshold,
management.
Okay. But anyhow, vendor management, same industry knowledge as a knowledge. He should have industry knowledge, and then at peer industry knowledge, impact of training, that kind of threshold level, that knowledge should be there.
Different kind of vendors also, right? Not necessary classroom training you want to give. You may be wanting to give, you know, what e-learning kind of a training or virtual kind of a training, right? So different.
Or on-job training may be there.
Yeah.
So understanding of different kinds of vendors. You agree?
I agree. But now this skill
So
level,
learning
you can
methodologies, right?
Learning methodology.
Adult learning.
Yeah.
So when you are also talking about delivery, design and delivery, you have to have a good knowledge about adult learning.
I agree. That was more active nowadays.
You agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, can we see the skill level, vendor management skill level? Would you like to comment something on that? Because we have written
vendor management. Okay, one is you are always looking at cost effectiveness, negotiation skills,
knowledge, negotiation,
vendor evaluation, absolutely. That is procurement and negotiation, etc. Here networking, decision making, very important, absolutely.
Relationship management.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Let's go to planning and scheduling.
Yeah,
knowledge we are not able to conclude because of time limit, but yes, skill we
knowledge is actually the industry working pattern. You should know the industry working pattern. Like in some industry, before scheduling the training calendar, we have to understand at what time the training should be given, not in the first half, like that. Knowledge about the industry practices.
Knowledge of industry practice, or knowledge of what we call it, no, seasonal knowledge about the industry, peak season, off season. Then
because
we can
what happens typically when you're planning, say for example, you have planned a training program, but the production guy says, hey, I have to deliver and there is a huge crisis, I can't send people. So you have to go through past data, everything, analyze knowledge of all that, past trends, and say which are the best times suited, right?
In this,
because you just can't schedule at your own will.
Correct.
Knowledge about the industrial working schedule.
Knowledge about the industry, we can say.
You can also write seasonality and all that.
Seasonality, off season, peak season.
Because every industry has seasonality to a certain extent.
Now it's perfect. Correct.
Absolutely. In skills, time management, organization skills, attention to detail are very, very important. Absolutely.
And differential skill level only we are able to reach till graphic designing.
A differentiator will ensure that there's always a backup plan. What if it goes wrong? What if there is no... You agree?
Right, absolutely right. We missed that.
He will plan for 3-4 vendors. If one vendor can't deliver, then other vendor will be there.
Right.
backup plan.
in the pipeline.
Strategy. He should be more on strategy.
Strategize.
Yeah,
Yes.
strategize. Yeah. Strategy also will come there. Strategic and risk management. Graphic design निकाल देना चाहिए वहाँ से शायद. It is more on technical part, no? Graphic designing can be done by others. Yeah, strategy, risk management, and ठीक है.
So
Delivery.
delivery here, if you notice, you have only taken delivery what? You have to look at different, as a training manager, somebody said cost consciousness, Anis. So I will look at cost consciousness and say, hey, my mode of delivery, is it really very important for me to have a classroom training, or can I have this as a virtual training, or can I have this as a e-learning, right?
जी.
Madam, in case of threshold delivery, one knowledge is required, that is administrative knowledge.
So when delivery, you have to have knowledge of different technologies in which delivery can be made. No?
Medium of the training, knowledge about the medium of the training.
Yeah, knowledge of different, delivery mediums.
Delivery mediums.
Because today you have many, before maybe 2 decades ago, it was just classroom. And also when you are saying delivery, you have to also have a good understanding of which one can be virtual or e-learning, because not everything can become e-learning. Not everything can become virtual. There are certain trainings which have to be only done classroom. No?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, small groups, large groups. Okay. Then in delivery, what kind of material you want to give? Time management, definitely very important. Okay. Evaluation. In the end, for everything, you need to evaluate. What all will you evaluate?
Outcome.
Yeah. So what are they? If you can give me 2 or 3
ROI.
things. Huh?
ROI of the training program.
Yeah.
ROI of training program.
Yeah. So when I say ROI, what are those things which will count?
Is the skill development, whether it's happened or not happened. Learning
How will
took
you
place
check?
or not.
How will you check skill development happened or not happened?
With feedback.
Pre and post tests.
Pre-post test, which normally
So
we do.
at a threshold, the guy will only take a feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But at a differentiator, he will do a statistical correlation analysis, taking performance data and correlating with the training data.
Right.
You agree? I can do HR analytics, no?
Ji, HR analytics.
I can do correlation exercises. Increase of productivity has happened or not? No?
Yeah.
If I've increased my training hours, I'm not just looking at evaluation in terms of, hey, number of training hours over, number of training programs done. Am I looking at that, or am I looking at impact of training in terms of productivity, profits, etc.?
Yeah. Aspect impact we have written somewhere, I believe.
Right? So this will be, and then again, using Kirkpatrick model module. I'm sure all of you know the Kirkpatrick module.
Yeah.
There is a framework called Kirkpatrick framework, which is used for evaluation. So the differentiator will use knowledge of Kirkpatrick model, not module, sorry. You can actually go through the internet, or I can also send you that Kirkpatrick. There are 5 levels of evaluation. Okay. I think overall, guys, good job done. But have you noticed how much? So if you want to do a job element analysis, you have to be thorough with the job description, understand what are his role, what is his responsibility. Only then you will have a good understanding of what is the knowledge and skill required at a threshold level, and also at a differentiating level. And that's how you arrive at what? Mapping functional or technical competencies. Okay, guys, I think all of you are waiting for a break. I can see that. So let us take a quick break and come back. So say 10 minutes will be okay?
Okay.
All right. 10 minutes. Now it is 4:43. Please come back by 4:53.
Okay. Ji. Thank you.
Okay, and then we will come back to the main room. Huh? I'll close
Right.
off the breakout. Leave
Okay,
breakout room.
thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome back, guys. All of you, I'm sure, are here. Okay. Yeah, Anish is here, and I think everybody's here. Okay, welcome back. Okay, great. So, what were some of the challenges you had when you were doing this job element analysis?
See, we know the subject, but it is very difficult to frame it in a specific way.
Okay.
That was the one challenge. And second is that not able to really understand what is element and what is the skill or knowledge. We are struggling there actually.
Yeah, so I was what is very, very important to do functional analysis is that you need to have definitely what a very detailed job description, right? Step one. So once you have a detailed job description, then you can actually then break that job description into job elements. Like Anish had this difficulty of saying that I did not understand what is a job element. So job element is nothing but in job description, there are a list of activities, but you are doing 5 or 10 activities to accomplish certain tasks, another 5 or 10 activities to accomplish certain tasks. For example, in a training manager role, you are doing certain things to as a part of the need identification of training gaps, right? That is called training need identification or training need analysis. Then you are also doing certain things to plan and schedule programs on time, right? That's one broad element. You are also doing evaluation, feedback and evaluation. Under that feedback and evaluation, you are doing a list of things to accomplish that task, right? Under vendor management, you are doing a lot of things. Under delivery, design and content of the programs, you are doing a lot of things. So these are various elements. Lot of list of responsibilities, list of activities, but you are doing certain things to accomplish certain tasks. Is that very clear now? Segregation of your tasks into various elements. I hope everybody is now on the same page. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, to accomplish the task, you will need a certain knowledge and a certain skill. As I said, that functional competencies are above the water, which relate to knowledge and skill. Got it? So that's how I said, when you're doing this task, I need to understand what kind of knowledge I require and what kind of skill I require. One is at a minimum threshold level, and the other is at a differentiating level. Is that very clear, Anish? Now?
Yeah. It's better now.
Okay. Now, having said that, now one of you, can you actually share that? And I want you to work here now. If these are the functional competencies the JD already has, please list only 4 behavioral competencies which are required now to accomplish all these tasks. You getting me? 4 behavioral competencies. Can you share that page? Anybody, whoever is sure, you can actually, we will work on that sheet. Can you put that sheet up? Put an Excel sheet and just list down 4 behavioral competencies. I think sharing is allowed.
Coordinating.
Yeah. I want one of you to share that whatever work you have done, use a separate sheet now and just put it in an Excel sheet and say, hey, 4 competencies.
Analytical skill, coordinating.
Yeah, but you have to share it. Now we'll work on that. We will now work in full length for a training manager, right from functional competencies to behavioral competencies to even behavioral indicators and proficiency levels. Yeah. You can put it in a Excel format or just yeah, maybe on a blank sheet, a Word document, you can put it. You can do it here itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, you can just list down behavioral competencies.
Behavioral competency for this particular role.
Yeah, for this position which you have done.
For this
role.
Okay. For threshold or for the
no. So now, very good question. So first list them down, then I'll tell you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, one is aspire high is the behavioral competency.
Pardon, Anish?
Aspire high.
Aspire high.
Use
That
the
is
same position, training manager.
Communication skill.
So
yeah,
coordinating skill, analytical skill,
and strong relationship.
Networking.
You can just write 3 or 4 so that we will write even indicators for them, and then.
So
analytical skill, analytical
skill. Oh, that is. We have to write the behavioral competency. No?
Behavioral. So we can behavioral. Normally, what I understood is ambitious, collaborative, agility, something like that. So when we say ambitious,
going into details.
The person should be very ambitious, no? One who is doing this all thing to create a nice calendar, to create a right mapping, to note down the time gap, take out the data from the PMP and personal interview.
Okay, I will just give you one example. For example, I'm sure you have written somewhere vendor management, delivery, etc. So I can write negotiating or influencing skills, which is actually a behavioral competency, right? Yes. It is a skill also, it is also competency. So you can write that negotiation / influencing skills.
Results orientation.
Okay, communication skills. Okay, just 4 or 5 because we will deliberate on them. So aspiring high is a
not a competency.
Personal kind of a goal.
Yeah.
Right? But if you write, say, okay, I mean, you could also write like, if there's a competency driving business results, that could be. But aspiring high is a very personal goal. All of you agree that?
Ambitious.
Yeah, but how we have to convert is that? No, sorry.
Result orientation.
Yeah, aspire high and
result orientation.
Result orientation or result driven is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Communication skills, relationship management, ambitious again. What
that is also.
Yes.
Aim high, deliver high.
Ambitious, you think that's a competency?
Personal competency.
No.
That's a personal trait.
Yeah.
Because we are talking about the role competency.
Ambitious can be removed. Yeah.
Actually, we are
attention to detail is a competency.
Is a competency.
Time management, data analysis. Great. Okay, fine. So these are the behavioral competencies. Okay, let us start with, because all of you understand very well communication skills. All right, communication skills. What could we, if I say Anish is very good at communication skills. How do I know he's very good at communication skills?
We need to evaluate.
There will be a behavior, right?
Yeah.
The way he speaks. That means I can see the way Anish speaks. I can observe the way Anish, communicates. So based on whatever I see, right? And especially if I'm saying a communication skills for that particular competency, I'm saying here Anish can communicate very well, right? Verbal, written, I'm taking all that into consideration. So can I say that for a behavior, so unless and until I see, for a behavioral competency. So what does it mean? That there are certain 3 criteria for a behavioral indicator. A, it has to be specific, action specific for that particular competency. Are you saying, if I'm saying that Anish can speak well at a level 1 or level 2 or level 3, that means I'm saying, hey, the way he's speaking, so I'm assessing his communication skills. So A, it has to be very, very specific to that competency. 2, I have to observe, or if I cannot observe a behavior, I cannot say the presence or the absence of a competency is based on observation. So if I can observe, that means it can be measured. So that means if I say communication skills, then I can also measure that communication skills, right? Now, the behavior has to be done by the role holder, not by somebody else, his team. Got it? Not by somebody else. For example, I'm a supervisor. I am supervising my stock taking guy. The stock taking person has to do the stock taking. But if I will say that, yes, so what is my job? I have to supervise that stock taker. So you have to actually, so when I'm assessing a competency, I have to see whether the role holder is doing. So there are 3 things which are very, very important when I say a behavioral indicator. They have to be observed. Then they can be measured. Then it has to be done by the role holder, and it has to be very specific to that particular competency. That means it has to be action specific. For example, I'm a manager. I was sitting for 4 to 5 hours and I just got up and I'm actually walking around. I can't say that, I'm doing management by walking. I could be tired. That's why I'm walking. Okay. So again, what becomes very, very particular? Action specific to that particular competency. So let us actually, first of all, write 1 or 2 indicators. You need to space it. Whoever is doing this, who is doing this, Anish or Anshu, or who is it? Can you give space after every competency so that, yeah, because we'll make it as a tabular form. Result driven. Let us start from the first one. Let us take at least 3 competencies and write their behavioral indicators. I want everybody to participate and start doing that. Who is sharing it?
Ninu.
Yeah, good. Great. You can write it here. Good. Result driven. What are the behavioral indicators for result driven for a training manager? How will you know that he is driving results or he is achieving results? Huh?
Minimizing the gap, competency gap of the stakeholders.
Pardon?
Minimizing the competency gap of the stakeholders.
So what kind of a behavior he is doing? That means he could be, when he is result driven, that means he is coordinating, communicating with different stakeholders. That could be one behavior to achieve results.
Yeah.
I mean, can you see communicating? Can you, that means through emails or through personal talk, and he's coordinating. So this is some behavior which you can see, right? So one indicator we'll write. Okay. Communication skills. So what do you think? What kind of a behavior that means? Communicating both verbally and you can say non-verbally, if you think you want to write even verbally. Not clarity. Can you see clarity?
Effective.
You can't see clarity. You have to show
Effective
behavior there. So when you're writing communication skills, what will you write? What is the behavior?
Effective communication.
Ability to influence.
Absolutely. Ability to persuade and influence through his communication skills. Ability to effectively communicate. Relationship management. What could be one of the behavior? Ability to manage, or ability to influence, or ability to persuade and build consensus, gain cooperation, right?
Correct.
And for what? To obtain, it could be to obtain information or to obtain or to achieve goals. But we can see all this, right? So this is
Yeah.
behavior.
Mm.
Attention to detail. Everybody does that. Tell me, what does it do? Ability to ensure.
Ability to see the big picture.
नहीं, big picture कहाँ आएगा? Attention to detail. When you are able, when you have a competency like
see,
this, ability to detail, that means ability
to see the even small piece of information.
Pardon?
Small piece of information.
Yeah, so ability to collect,
Yeah, proactively.
proactively all details to accomplish tasks.
Mm.
Time management mein very easy to write. What will you write? Ability to
Do things in time.
deliver,
Complete the task on time.
plan,
Deliver in
deliver,
time.
design,
As per plan.
On-time
data
delivery.
analysis. You have a lot of data. That means ability to analyze data. Analyze data for what? Why are we analyzing data?
To take right decision.
To
Access.
infer or to predict, or what else?
Assess.
For ROI, right?
Evaluate.
Or to showcase. I mean, because you are analyzing data so that you are within the budgets, or you are showing increase of productivity, or you are trying to say that, hey, I have achieved business results. Again, when you're talking about negotiating and influence skill, what is it? Again, this is ability to say influence again, or to whenever you are doing negotiating and influencing, it's ability to actually build consensus. Are you getting me? Build consensus. Yeah. Like there will be different stakeholders. Build consensus from different stakeholders, or gain cooperation to obtain information. Great, guys. Okay, so I'm not getting into too many indicators. We have just written this. Now, what have I done? We have done the functional competencies, and through, say, for example, through a BEI, that means behavioral event interviewing of superior performers and average performers, I've been able to collect that these are 4 or 5 key behavioral competencies which are required to ensure that there is superior performance. Now, just writing a behavior indicator is not good enough. Can I go back to that one, what we wrote just now? We need to now write what we call it as proficiency levels. What is proficiency level? For example, I'm a training manager. I'm wanting to analyze my, say, for example, negotiating and influencing skills. This behavior, one training manager may be actually demonstrating or showing behavior of building consensus from different stakeholders or gaining cooperation at a very low intensity level. Another training manager may be doing it at a high intensity level. Now, what is required by the superior performer? and what is actually done by the average performer, that becomes our benchmark for creating proficiency levels. Do you know how do we create proficiency
is it the
levels?
required competency? Is it the
Pardon?
required competency? Is it the required competency? Proficiency is the required competency level?
No. Yeah, no. Just hear me out. This is very critical, and not normally when you read books and all, you won't be able to understand. Only when you say, for example, Sumit is a training manager. Okay. Now, I want to either hire him or I want to do performance management for him, whatever. Now, one of the behavioral competencies is negotiating and influencing skills. The behavior indicator is ability to build consensus from different stakeholders, gain cooperation, etc. Okay. Now, having said that, now how do I actually assess or select? So as you rightly stated, I have to have a benchmark who does very well, differentiator, and I have to have somebody who does just an average. So typically when I'm doing a competency mapping in an organization, what I will do, I will go and talk to two sets of people. One will be a superior performer or a subject matter expert who's been in this role, very good top performer, and one will be an average performer. Then I will talk to him. Okay, fine, give me a situation, a critical incident wherein you had to negotiate and use your influencing skill to bring in consensus from different stakeholders or maybe from different vendors to arrive at to take a decision. Now he will give you one critical incident. The top performer will give you one critical incident. The average guy will give you one critical incident. So what will happen? You will write that down and then you will see what is that he did as a top performer to achieve this negotiation and influencing skills. So that will become your differentiator or level 3, level 5 proficiency level. And average performers will be your literally at a low level.
Okay.
And if you are not able to do that, then what happens typically? Then you build up a scale, which right in the beginning I showed you, novice, expert, a medium, expert, and mastery level. So you can have just 3 scales or you can have 5 scales. What does it mean typically? At the lowest level, you have to blow it up. You are blowing up the action. Behavior is nothing but action. You agree?
Agree.
Huh? Behavior is what? Action only, no?
Action.
If I say I am a great negotiator, what does it mean? That means when I have to negotiate with 4 or 5 vendors, I will try and listen and understand and then ensure that I'll have some convincing skills. I will influence them. So everything is action. So I will put that into level 1, level 2, level 3 at the lowest and at the highest. So typically, if you're doing a mapping in your own organizations, I as a consultant, what we do is highest and lowest, and then fill in the level 2 and level 3. Are you with me? It's easy to then do the proficiency levels. Anshu, are you there? Because I'm sure he wants to do it in the organization. So I want everybody to understand how you will go about doing this competency mapping. Anish?
Hanji.
Are you able, did you get whatever I have explained?
Yeah. Proficiency level, I am very much clear.
See, proficiency level is nothing but intensity of a behavior, right?
Intensity of behavior.
Intensity means you understand, no?
Yeah.
Kam jada. Huh?
Right.
For example, ability to persuade. At the lowest level, my ability to persuade is very less. At the highest level, I will do a lot of things, building consensus, etc. That ability to persuade is very high. So the intensity of behavior is something which we talk about when we're talking about a proficiency level. Got it?
Agree.
So Guys, can we quickly do another small exercise so that you all understand, because there'll be a homework for you all. Huh? We will do it as a group here. Okay. Interpersonal skills. Who is the MC here? Who is doing this work?
Minu.
Yeah. Can you write interpersonal skills? So interpersonal skill is a skill and also a behavioral competency. What does it mean? So what could be some of the right 5 to 6 behavioral indicators? Group work this is, guys. Behavioral indicators. Group work.
Motivator.
Where is Ninu? Ninu, are you there?
Nirmala, I'm here, but when I'm sharing the screen, it goes on mute and not able to.
Okay, fine, no problem. But just share. Yeah, you are. I mean, I want everybody to understand this is a critical thing. Huh? So what we are trying to do is understand, if there is a behavioral competency, interpersonal skills, what could be some of the indicators for this interpersonal skill?
Motivation.
Now, what are the 3 rules I gave? Can you observe motivation?
No.
Can you measure motivation?
Ability to influence and persuade again.
Influencing.
So your indicator should ensure that it can be observed and it can be measured.
Then
here also, in my view, ability to influence.
Ability to influence.
If you have a good interpersonal relationship, you are able to influence.
Here also the communication skill is important.
So so simple, I'll give you a lead. Anticipates how others will react to a situation. That is good interpersonal skill, no? I can observe, I can measure. 2, listens attentively to people's ideas and concerns. Can you observe that? Can you measure it?
Yeah.
So a guy with good interpersonal skills, another behavior, understands both the strengths and the weaknesses of others, right? So I hope you are now getting, when I'm saying behavioral indicator, you have to first check, can I observe this behavior? Can I measure this behavior? Okay?
Interpersonal skill, anticipate, understand strength.
Ability to notice and also to anticipate others' concerns and feelings. Because an interpersonal skill guy, what he will do, he will actually, empathize, he will anticipate.
Listening skill, how do we write that? One has to have patience listening skill, we say, na?
Listens attentively.
Attentively, okay.
No? To
Active
people's,
listening.
whether you want to write people's ideas and concerns, because only then the other guy will say, hey, he's listening to me very well, his interpersonal skills. So you can actually.
Understood.
So now, okay, we'll stop at this. 1, 2. So now when you have to write proficiency levels, what will you do? You will blow it up from low to highest. The behavior will be from low to highest. You getting me? How to write a proficiency level?
1 to 5
Competency will have no meaning. The absence or the presence of a competency is based on behavioral indicator, but the behavior indicator's proficiency level will tell me to what intensity is it demonstrating that particular behavior. Got it?
Yeah.
Did you get that full sentence, what I said? The absence or the presence of a competency is demonstrated through a behavioral indicator. Now, the intensity of that behavior is demonstrated through the proficiency levels. In the sense, what I will do, hey, did he demonstrate level 1? Did he demonstrate level 2? Or did he demonstrate level 3? So in competency mapping, it becomes absolutely necessary that when you are writing competencies, you have to write a definition of that competency, 2, behavioral indicator, 3, then you have to write the proficiency levels. And when you are writing behavioral indicators, they have to be observed, they have to be reliable, they have to be measurable, and they have to be done by that role incumbent. Means the person who is doing that role. Got it? Okay, guys. Now here is an assignment. We have 2 job descriptions with you. Do you have 2
How to
job
write
descriptions which Vilma has mailed to you?
proficiency? We have to write on the scale of 1 to 5, or how it is? Level 1, level 2, that way, right?
Depending on the complexity of your organization and also on the job, you have to maintain. It could be typically 1 to 5, or you can have your learning. So it could be 1 to 3. Okay. Now, typically for a role, not more than 8 competencies. You can manage 8 competencies, but don't look at 8 to 13 competencies, etc. Why? Because typically 2 competencies will be core competencies, 4 or 5 will be your functional competencies, 1 or 2 will be your other leadership and behavioral competencies. So typically what we say, an average of 8 competencies for a role is a good number. Okay. Now, guys, the homework for you all is that you have 2 job descriptions. In the context of your own organization, I want you to do functional analysis, core competencies in the context of your own organization, and behavioral competencies. And if you send them to me earlier, then I can go through and do everything. Think that this job, you can add more for the job description, delete, but keep it in your context. Okay? Because then you will get a fairer understanding. Keep it in your context and do all functional competencies.
What are the 2 job role, madam?
Yeah, your comfort, because you all are also working. So you want to do 1, I'm okay with 1, but send it to me after 3 or 4 days, because then I will go through everything, and then if there are any corrections needed, everything, then I can give you my own inputs.
Okay.
So you want to do 1? Absolutely. It's a group decision, or I will go by Meritt Learning Center's decision.
Better to go for 1.
They have 2 job descriptions.
So they are saying, should they go for 2 or 1?
See, 1 definitely they have to do, but if they can do 2, all the more better for them. So
choice. Okay.
So you have option both 1 or 2. It's your choice.
And guys, try and send it to me at least in 4-5 days before the assessment center starts. Okay.
Sure.
Any questions today? Let me give you a quick recap. Let me just go back. Yeah, if you can close it. So if I can give you a quick recap, what we actually did was we looked at, whenever we want to do competency development in an organization, we look at the need, understand the need, talk to our top management, show him what are the kind of benefits. Then we will look at what are the kind of clusters of competencies we will actually have in our organization, which is actually called a competency framework. Framework is nothing but listing your competencies in various clusters. Now, these clusters could be what? Functional, core, behavioral, leadership competencies, etc., depending on your organization. So once you have done them, this is like, what we call it as competency architecture. That is, think of a building. A building will have a foundation, building will have rooms, and building will have a floor. So your foundation is your core competencies. Your, the top the roof will be your leadership competencies, and all these rooms are your job families or functional competencies. Now, once you have them, then you will have to do your competency mapping. So a very quick method is bring the entire function into one room. Okay, then let them write down all their job descriptions. Okay, because when you bring everybody into a room, the function or the job family, then what happens, you'll have different levels of jobs in the same function. Then you are able to actually then cascade the intensity of your competencies, similar competencies to write your proficiency levels becomes much easier. Okay, but ultimately the process is the same. You do a functional job element analysis, then you actually do a core competencies, identify them, and then you do your behavioral competencies. Then again, as I said, every competency should have what? A definition. It should have an indicator. It should have a proficiency level, because the absence or the presence of a competency is based on the behavioral indicator. Just by mentioning the name or the title of a competency does not say whether you have that competency or not, because you are not able to assess it. Any questions, guys? I will recommend everybody to read, because the reading material is so detailed that whatever we have covered here today, you will be able to understand it very well. Okay.